On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing the median price per square foot, job openings, and private payroll, as well as mortgage applications. Today is Wednesday, June 5th. Happy birthday, Mom, 2024. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Love that I read the date every single day for the birthdays that I do remember. It's a great reminder first thing in the morning to know which date it is. Welcome into the hot sheet here. Let me know in the live chat which market you're tuning into. And a reminder that tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on the BAM YouTube channel, I will be doing a live objection handling role play YouTube event with Tom Toole and Ben Balak. It is going to be epic sales call style. So if you're interested in using some of the stuff we learned here, potentially into weaving it into your sales calls, join us there tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel here and hit the notification bells so you don't miss that. It'll be right here in the live tab, just like the hot sheet is each and every single day. Of course, the hot sheet's the only 24-hour look back on housing. And we've got that realtor.com report that we had to leave off yesterday. You can go back and listen to any of the replays of the hot sheet, whether it be here on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple. Love for you to consider leaving a review on those two platforms, even if you are consistently using the YouTube app. Mean a lot to us. Realtor.com, the piece that we did not get to yesterday, we're going to kick off with here. It's the May 2024 monthly housing market trends report. Okay. Now, their inventory in their report, this is put together by Danielle Hale and Sabrina Spino from Realtor.com. Their report has inventory significantly higher than the numbers that we track with Altos Research every single Monday. So it's interesting. We're looking at Altos, which I consider to be pretty accurate, obviously, or wouldn't be using that. But right now, Realtor.com and what they're seeing has it even higher. Okay, so interesting to see that their active listing count is exceeding the 600,000 on Altos by 187,000. We're at 787 the way Realtor.com active listing count. Now, the reason why I believe this number is higher is they take into effect some of those show status and those type of some of those ones that are actually still are technically pending, where Altos does not do that. But if you just look at how Realtor.com's crunching their numbers, we're going to be passing 2020 levels of inventory here pretty soon. Now, we're nowhere near, obviously, 17, 18, and 19. 2019, according to the way Realtor.com tracks, was at call it just under 1.2 at this time. So, 350,000 off roughly from today's number to where we were at this time in 2019. But this is increasing. I think by all metrics, we're seeing active listing count increase, so far ahead of the last few years. There were 35.2% more homes actively for sale on a typical day in May compared with the same time in 2023, according to the Realtor.com. 7th consecutive month of annual inventory growth. It appears that in some markets we haven't even gotten started, so this number should go up in the future. For the first 5 months of this year, the inventory of homes actively for sale was at its highest level since 2020. However, all inventory this May is much improved compared with the previous 3 years. It is still down 34% compared to 17 to 19 levels. Now, there are markets where that's not the case, right? There are markets where you're at 2019 levels, or there are markets like some in the Northeast that are still below even this number, okay? This is a slight improvement from last month's 35.9% gap as inventory continues to slowly grow toward normalcy. We're getting back to normalcy. This inventory is good. It's healthy. If you were a farmer and you didn't have any rain for 200 days and you started to see the rain, it's starting to become rain season here in South Florida. That's a good thing. A lot of green in South Florida. They need the rain here. Okay. Rain is natural. Inventory is natural. It's normal. We're getting back towards normalcy. Looking ahead, active inventory is likely to surpass 2020 levels later this summer. Just mentioned that. While this will be a notable milestone, the market is likely to achieve this feat because the sharp drop that happened in second half of 22. So makes sense there. Digging into the report further, of course, you can get access to the full breakdown inside of BAMX. If you're not a BAMX member today, use code HOT to get 10% off your BAMX membership. Every single hot sheet we deliver to you, these hot sheet show notes with everything detailed out. You can easily copy and paste, use it in your marketing, your follow-up, or any of your personal database activities. So digging in a little bit further, some market trends. Median list prices have surged by 37.5% since May of 2019. So Realtor.com's numbers got them under the 40%, but I think anybody would take that, indicating right now being a strong seller's market because of those price increases. Inventory has declined that 34% from 2017 to 2019 levels. Price per square foot, median price per square foot has risen 52.7% since before the pandemic. Median list price per square foot, okay, increased 3.8% since May 2023. Median list price rose by 0.3% to $442.5 compared to May 2019. Compared to May 23, rather, decreased 33.3% compared to May 2019 active listings. New listings declined 26%. And median days on market increased by 1 day to 44 days. So we're starting to see properties go a little bit higher on market. Let's look at the metros right now with the highest median price from Realtor.com. Here are those metros. Highest increase in median list price per square foot be New York, Jersey City, Boston, Cambridge, Nashville area, Tampa Bay, San Diego, Austin, Memphis, Riverside, California, Washington, D.C., and then Hartford coming in, Hartford, East Hartford, Middletown area coming in at the bottom of that list. Metros with the highest increase in median list price per square foot. Okay. All the charts, of course, will be available for you inside of BAMX. Here's some more data for you. Price reduced share. Okay. We look at that on every single Monday. Are we getting more price reductions? According to Altos, we are seeing more than the last 2 years. Okay. Price reduced share, price reduced for 2024 is in line here with 2017 and 2018 levels. Okay, it's greater than all the other years, 2019 through 2023. So we're seeing more price reductions than we've seen in 5 years, according to Realtor.com. We're seeing as many as 2017 and pretty close to as many as in 2018. Okay, that to me means more normalcy, normal stuff. But if you're talking to a seller who has ambitions to sell quickly, then this is a chart I'm probably showing them. Okay, I'd go back to Monday's data that shows 35% of properties are, according to them, are doing a price reduction before selling, where last year it was 30%. Okay. This is just the amount in May, according to Realtor.com's portal data. Okay. You got to parse this out a little bit, but you can show two examples side by side that price reductions are up, not down. Okay. Showing that data to a seller helps them open up maybe to your price and not the price that they're referencing of the record deal that the neighbor around the corner hit in March. If you want to sell this weekend in June, it might not be the record. It might be 5% below the top 3 records, which would still be 40% up from 2019, right? Getting them off of that aspirational price and to where the market's moving today is going to help them obviously keep more money in their pocket because they're selling earlier in the sales cycle. And it's going to help you put them in the best position. Those conversations are so important right now when we're talking to sellers. I know in 2021, you could grab everybody's aspirational price and it would come to your surprise that there'd be 30 offers and you'd set a new record and you can slap it on a postcard. Great. We're not in that market today. We're in the market where we need to start talking people off of aspirational prices because it's going to hurt them in the long run. And if you never had the conversation, the finger is going to come back on you, and it should if you don't have that conversation. Okay. Let's take a look at, I'll just pick out some of the other metros here. I gave you the top 10 on price per square foot, but here's an overview of the 50 largest metros. Atlanta up 52.9%, median listing price per square foot. Median listing price year over year, though, for Atlanta down. Median listing price in Austin down. Baltimore, it's up. Boston, it's up. Buffalo, it's up big time, 18.6. Those boys are getting ready for football season. The Bills Mafia. Cincinnati, it's down. Cleveland up huge. Dallas is down. Denver's down. Detroit's down. This is on median list price, okay? So this is what people are asking. Looking at the competition and coming up with a number. Houston, it's down. Hartford is up. No competition in Hartford currently. Jacksonville's down. Kansas City's down. LA's up pretty big. Miami's down on asking price 11.2%. People are going on the market now in Miami. Those sellers are saying, well, based on the competition, I'm going to price this thing lower than I would have had I priced it a year ago. Not happening in Milwaukee, where they're up 6.7%. So we have a mixed bag here. I mean, this seems to me like the first time in a while where we've had a mixed bag. How often have we looked at these numbers and it's like up, 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 up. Everybody's up. You might have one outlier. It was typically New Orleans. Everybody's not up today. We have a variety at the party. Raleigh's down. Portland's down. Pittsburgh's up big. You've got a very localized situation going on here on asking prices. Probably the markets that are experiencing those sharp increases in inventory, more competition, are cooling it on their asking price. This is going to seep into the rest of markets as we move forward. If interest rates stay elevated, it certainly will. I know that'll keep some inventory back, but we're seeing a crunch on the consumer for the first time really since 2020. And that crunch is creating some movement. Okay. We're going to talk about jobs here that might speak to that easing of the job market. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But before we do, let's do our weekly update on mortgage applications. This further actually showcases what I'm talking about. Mortgage applications decreased 5.2% from 1 week earlier, according to Mortgage Banker Association. This also includes an adjustment for the Memorial Day holiday. We don't care about that number. That's the number you're going to see in the headlines. There's only one number we care about, and it's how are buyers being impacted, okay? Well, buyers are also being impacted, not just the total number of refinances and purchases, but when we carve out just the purchase index, seasonally adjusted, that also decreased 4% from 1 week earlier. Remember, we can't keep telling people that there's all this pent-up demand. There's long-term pent-up demand. There's no question about that. Oh, when you survey millennials and Gen Z, they want to buy a house overwhelmingly. Boomers don't want to go and rent. People want to own a home, and they should. They're 75 times more wealthy than the renter. There's no question that people want to buy homes. It's who in this climate can afford it. Okay? When we speak to customers and they ask about demand, particularly these home sellers that we're having conversations with, as I point out, we need to paint them the picture of what selling in the next 90 days looks like. Okay? I showed this on Monday. I'll show it again here today. This is mortgage application data for the last 3 years. It's consistently gone down from 22 to 23 to today. We just had another drop week over week. This is the season where we start to see drops. It's not the season right now of the time of year historically where you see increases in mortgage demand. That is home buyer demand in buying homes. So if I'm pricing my home for this weekend, for next weekend, I need to price it with that in mind. What's the demand look like, and what's the competition? In any given market, it's going to be different. I get that in some markets, but overall, we're seeing demand go down, not up. Mortgage Banker Association is in line with the number I just showed you, 13% lower than the same week 1 year ago. And we're getting help this week right now with the mortgage rate. Okay. I mean, it's not where some of the dreamers want it to be. But we know those numbers aren't coming back, but we are back to 7.07 yesterday in the Mortgage News Daily. That's off of 7.34 last week at the top number there that we hit last week. So we're getting better. This week, I know that I could go right back to 7.25 next week. I think maybe these job numbers that we're seeing right now might help us. What do I mean? Okay, there's some job data that comes out today, that came out today, this morning, and we're going to get more on Friday. Okay, so job openings fell again in April. This hit the lowest level since February 2021, and it's a sign that the labor market is weakening. This is good news for inflation, not for someone who's looking for a job, of course. Now, it's the lowest level in 3 years, but there's still 8 million job openings. Okay, so it's not like if you really want a job, you can't. There's jobs out there. Okay, now I was golfing with a friend of mine who is a CEO of a IT company. He does IT for banking solutions. Anyways, we're on the golf course, and he says to me, asking me about the market. What do I think? I give him a couple hot sheet lines, of course. He goes, I don't know. I think there might be something up with the white collar worker. I said, tell me about that. What do you mean? See, we put out a position, which is just an average position. It wasn't like, it was a good position, average position, white collar position in his firm. And he says in the first 48 hours, they got over 400 applicants. I said, for how many positions? One position, over 400 applicants. So what are those 8 million jobs out there? Are they the jobs that people who are looking for jobs are wanting to be filled? Caught him off guard that there was that many applicants. Okay. So, it's interesting to see that, the talking points leading up to November from one side are going to be the economy's fantastic, unemployment's low. The talking points from the other side are this economy doesn't work for everybody, and it's terrible, and all the, whatever. Just talk to people in your market. Like, is the economy working for them? I think there's a bigger crunch right now on the U.S. consumer than we've seen in recent memory. There's been restrictive policy from the Fed that would support my claim right there. Okay. Private sector employment did increase by 152,000 in May. Annual pay was up 5%. This was lower than expectations. Okay. So private payroll ads in May, 152,000. It was supposed to be closer to 200,000. So a miss there. These are two indications that, and certainly what Powell has said in the past. By the way, FOMC meets next week. We're going to see what Powell and the committee is going to do. But he said in the past, he's like, this is not any longer a strong labor market. Okay, so even though the numbers still feel sexy up front, low unemployment, 8 million job, it when he's saying that, he's probably seeing the underlying stories, facts that might support, hey, we're going to be up over 4% pretty soon on unemployment. Hiring is slowing down. Companies don't have the capital to invest like they once did. We're missing numbers. When this happens, when labor breaks, as Logan says over at HW quite often, that is when the Fed will have to start cutting rates. I'm not saying they're going to do that next week. Nobody believes that. The market doesn't have that priced in at all, that they're going to start cutting rates next week. But you start to see the labor market, because they have two mandates: maximize employment while getting back to the 2% inflation. They can't let employment get out of control. They have to balance the two. So when the labor market breaks, that's when you'll see the cutting of the Fed fund target, which hopefully the 10-year would and the 30-year would follow at that time. That would be the expectation. So a little bit of job data there for you. We'll see what happens on Friday. That's when the big job reports are coming out. There's more information on the job data that came out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as well as ADP employment. I'll show you the Bureau of Labor Statistics, obviously, but there's more data on that in the inside of BAMX for you. And you can see, like I said, this is just, it's early signs of it going up. Okay. Unemployed persons per job opening, early signs. 17 was higher, 18 was higher. We're starting to get back to 19, 20 level. We're starting to get closer to that. We're higher than 22 and the end of 21. So we're starting to see it. Again, I would use a word normalcy. I'm not saying that this is going to take off and we're going into a recession. I'm not saying that. I'm saying here are signs that we're getting and entering a much softer labor market, which would be a case for some for the Fed to start lowering rates. We are seeing a 10-year react. This is the last 5 days on the 10-year, moving down consistently each of the 10 days. That's why when I showed you the 30-year chart, we're seeing that come down. That's great for us. All right. Also great for everybody would be to attend BAM Mania, circa Las Vegas on October the 18th. You can still get early bird pricing. Put the link down below. If you're not familiar with circa Las Vegas, just look up that venue and you will be blown away. Must attend real estate conference of the year, October 18th. Tickets down below. Early bird pricing still exists. BAM X members, you get an extra 25% off that lowest price possible. All right, that's the hot sheet here for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, tomorrow I'll see you guys on the hot sheet, and then I'll see you on a live YouTube at 3 p.m. Eastern for the objection handling sales call. Obviously, completely accessible to everybody. That link is up, so you could share that already or bookmark it. Certainly subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content from BAM. See you guys soon. Until then, toodaloo.